Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thank you all for hopping aboard with the captain for another video. In this one, I am late to the party, but I had to do this video. A couple weeks back, Texas Longhorns visited the Alabama Crimson Tide in football, and Texas came out with a 10-point victory, 38-28. Well, toward the end of the game, of course, Bama fans were upset because they knew the game was out of reach, and Texas had defeated Alabama. Okay, so they were upset. There was a video of some fans heckling, insulting, disrespecting some Texas Longhorns fans while they were on the sideline. Now, I do have this video I'm gonna bring in, and it is from Raymond Ankrum, and I'm gonna listen to his comments about it, and then afterward play the audio and video of the fans, and then react to that. But let's listen to what this gentleman has to say about this.
The SEC is one of the most racist conferences in college sports. Not even college sports, probably college education. And so these Bama fans acting this way towards these young scholar athletes from Texas is of no surprise to me, but it may be of surprise to y'all. And I know what y'all gonna say. You'll be like, oh, racism doesn't exist. Oh, victim mentality. But if you're out here talking to young people like that as a fan, then that says more about you than it says about them.
All right. Now, before I get to what was said, I want to say this. Personally, I don't believe in racism. I just don't believe in it. It's literally a man-made term, and it wasn't even widely used until like the 1930s. Okay, so very modern word, and it's only used to gain control and power over people. It keeps people riled up and upset and angry, and always fighting this invisible beast that you can never defeat because it's not there. So I don't agree with that. There's hate within people. People do have hate. Okay, could they have a spirit of just hatred? They don't have one of love. So that hate will manifest itself in many different ways. So if you're looking at a person who's white, yelling at someone black, calling them an insulting word, and you want to call that racism, okay, I'm sure that same white person is not the best person to their own family and friends and people at work and so on and so forth. If a person would do that to somebody that they don't know, right, because of how they allegedly look, when they go home, they're probably yelling at their wife, their kids, maybe even physically abusive, okay, to these individuals in their home. They're just a no good person, okay? So that hate doesn't just hide itself and present only for certain people. That hate is gonna come out in different facets of life, okay? So that's why I say it's not a racism thing. It's just the low-hanging fruit that people notice and they attach themselves to so that they can gain a little, attention or get that victim mentality that he mentioned, right? That's what that is. And so now to address what he said later on about the SEC and everything, I'm gonna play this audio and video of these fans, and then I'm gonna react to that part.
Fucking faggots! You guys are all faggots! Go back to the projects, faggots! Go back to the projects! Faggots! Go.
All right, so that's enough of that one. So here's what I want to say, because he went the route of saying, well, the SEC is the most racist in sports, probably in education or whatever. Okay, all right. And I went through the whole racism doesn't exist thing, right? But it's more to it than that, because is he not realizing something? These athletes, okay, Texas is not the only team out there on that field with black players. Okay, Alabama has multiple black players as well, right? Running back, quarterback, D-line, O-line, safeties. Like, what is he? So to say that the Alabama fans are yelling at the Texas players because they're black, and that's the only reason why, is just a made-up lie. Okay, because they cheer on their own black players week in and week out, not just in football, basketball, baseball, etc. Right? Because it's Alabama. That's who they cheer for. So that whole racism thing is what I'm saying is not a real thing. People are just using that because of the racial dynamic of the situation, not because of something that they specifically said to a specific person. Now let's address what was actually said. Okay, so they called him, gay slur, which is, it's an insult. When I was coming up, that's what we called each other, right? That's what we called each other when somebody was doing something that was deemed sissified, or you were being weak or something, you would say that word, right? And then the whole thing about go back to the projects. Like, what's the difference between them saying that to them and a black player telling the white guy, go back to the hills? Like, go back to the hills have eyes. Like, I mean, would it be looked at as, oh my God, this is so racist and that's this bigotry? Nobody will say that, right? And equally, nobody says anything when it's all black fans watching all black players play each other. And there's all kind of insults, all kind of BAs and N's and all kind of words get thrown around. Nobody makes a big fuss about it. It doesn't make the news. It's not a hot topic. But as soon as the racial dynamic is a white and black, especially when the white is the so-called aggressor in the situation and the blacks are the recipients or the victims, that's when it matters. It's the only time it matters. So basically, that's what I want to say about that. Okay, if you disagree, please let me know. But hopefully I gave you a different view of it, a different perspective to kind of understand. Don't fall for the racism thing. Don't fall for it. It's just a low-hanging fruit that people can just pluck on out and say, hey, I know it's a whole lot more going on around the situation, but don't forget, there's a white person and a black person. That's the reason why they're upset. No, it's not. Those guys were upset because their team was losing, and they knew it was over. Okay, that's what it was about. If they saw those players walking down the street somewhere, they wouldn't just act like that. They acted like that, I would say, because of the loss, and the players themselves didn't even react to him in an aggressive way. They were over there dancing and cheering. They heard them, obviously, because they literally turned and looked at the fans. So they heard it. They didn't even react in a major way. It was just they were dancing and throwing up their long horns and just having a good time. They knew the game was over with. I mean, if they weren't upset, why are you so upset? Come on. Go get your box of tissue, okay? We'll all play a violin for you so you can cry your sorrows away, all right? Anyway, leave me a like. Comment down below for real this time. Let me know what y'all think about this. If you will, also share this with a friend. And, of course, hit that subscribe. Thank y'all so much for hopping aboard with the captain for another video. This was the Captain's Corner Show. I was your host, L. Milliner, the captain. Until next time, I am gone.